Hi, it's Iyara. How are you experiencing the energy of the waning moon? A beautiful and interesting new moon awaits us on Saturday, January 21st at 10 to 10 in the evening here in Central Europe at 7 degrees of sidereal Capricorn and in the very intuitive and sensitive lunar mansion of Sravana, the brightest star in the constellation of the Eagle, which increases the power of observation and of witness consciousness. Sravana is also known as the star of listening because its symbol is an ear. We are asked to withdraw from socializing and tune into the powerful silence within, since the frequency of this new moon enhances our deep inner knowing and it opens us to subtle messages from within. Once we have touched the infinite ocean of consciousness that lies behind all appearances, we have access to an incredible wisdom and guidance. And I'm sure that many of you have experienced, as I do, that answers pop up in the days after asking a question. It's like a wave that guides us from one step to the next in our evolutionary process. In India, this Sravana New Moon is celebrated as Mauni Amavasya, the dark moon of silence. And a vow of silence is kept on this day to make space for the communication with the sacred inner voice. Many have never learned to listen to this inner voice because we are so exposed to so much noise, so much information, fake news, media. It's unbelievable. And this inner listening, this inner seeing needs more space, more practice. So we are advised to turn off all screens, mute our phones, and spend the day of the new moon in nature, meditating and listening to the sounds and messages of the silence within. And this is very necessary because this new moon comes on the heels of Mars and Mercury turning direct and Saturn's crucial shift into sidereal Aquarius in the week prior to the new moon. We may feel as if the tectonic templates of our life were moving, shifting, shaking, and it is possible that we experience some kind of cleansing, a cold, the flu, a fever, with our head or bones aging. The consciousness in us, as us, needs to clean itself from tamasic and rajasic imprints. In a sattvic state, as clean as the crystal clear water of a lake in the mountains, in this sattvic state, it is much easier to access the inner guidance, the inner seeing, the inner listening. The moon itself, as ruler of Sravana, indicates that we need rest and enough sleep. And Saturn, as Lord of Capricorn and this new moon, points to fasting and simplifying our life in this lunar cycle. The only aspect that the moon receives comes from Mars in sidereal Taurus and highlights the importance of self-sustenance and self-reliance. We are asked to stand alone, to be able to stand alone as consciousness in the eye of whatever storm, and listen attentively only to the inner divine guidance. And Vishnu, the sustainer, is the presiding deity of Sravana. He is often depicted sleeping on the cosmic float of the serpent Sheshanaga and dreaming the universe into being. As he watches what is being created, a lotus flower blossoms from his navel, which is the galactic center of the universe. Brahma, the creator, sits on this lotus flower, and goddess Lakshmi rests at the feet of her husband Vishnu. Let us hold the dream of what we wish to bring into manifestation in our attention and in our heart on this auspicious and challenging new moon that asks us to not depend on anything or anyone, but perceive what is really important for us in this very moment of our life and evolution, without taking into consideration what others might think, say, or feel about our decisions and intentions. Decisions and intentions made based on the guidance that we receive dwelling in silence. Guidance that we might receive also in dreams. And in the beginning, it can be challenging to develop confidence in this inner guidance. But with time, we discover the magic of this guidance. We can place an image of Vishnu and of Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom and inspiration, on our altar, because she will be worshipped with a puja, a sacrificial offering, on January 25th. Saraswati's birth is being celebrated always on the 5th day after the Sravana New Moon, with a festival known as Vasant Panchami that marks the preparation for the arrival of spring and the beginning of a new year. Here are some images of Vasant Panchami of 2022. You can see that in India people take an auspicious bath, if possible, after a pilgrimage to the meeting point of the rivers Ganges, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati river, and then they dress in yellow. These three rivers are a representation of the three central nadis, Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. The goddess, in fact, takes her name from the holy river Saraswati that appears in the Rig Veda and holds also a connotation to the Milky Way. Saraswati in Sanskrit means one's essence, the essence that flows in all of us, that nourishes us, and that leads us to being conscious of the immortality of ourselves. Saraswati is a subtle presence that inspires us to expand and elevate our intuition and the vibration of our consciousness as she vibrates in the words of wisdom, in music, mantras and silence. We too may want to take a ritual bath on Wednesday 25th, dress with some yellow color and offer yellow or white flowers to the goddess, as well as sweets made of milk. Have a blessed new moon and a beautiful new lunar cycle. It is the first of this new year 2023.